Yo, what's up, guys? Psych Ward Patience. I hope you guys have been doing fine in your straitjackets. It's your boy Sykes, forever balding, somewhat malding. Today, we're gonna be talking about a couple of things. If the video goes really long, I'll end up having, like, intro bits or, like, you know, time skips or timestamps. I am currently farming coins, because we can't, we never get enough of them, but that's just me. A couple of things I actually wanted to talk about, and we actually have a very good timing on our hands since I just finished that, is the investment of gold wedges. So as you can see here, I am on my main Lisbel, and I have a level 6 crit damage, and this is the only golden wedge that I have that is leveled up at least once currently. My plan of actions is to do consonance weapons, both ranged and melee, about 2 or 3 of them, 2 plus 7. I believe in terms of priority, right? In terms of priority in what we as, you know, players should think about trying to find the upgrades for would be things like Onslaught, or Duel, or Surge. Onslaught, Duel, or Surge. First, because they are universal. Secondarily, I believe in things like the Skyloom tree for Lumino skill damage, skill range, for Wildfire Skyloom, or Skyloom Midnight Sun for Lumino skill damage and skill duration. The Skyloom tree in itself, simply because, you know, the thing like Lumino attack, Anemo attack is a secondary modifier to damage, and I feel like things like Whispering, Griffin's Squall, the Griffin's Tree, and Typhon's Primes are very important to upgrade first. For example, Typhon's Prime Morale, but I believe you only get these through Chase, so like that is a bit of a nuisance there. But yeah, that was the first thing I wanted to talk about today. The second thing I wanted to talk about today was the ideas of the immersive theater and people who are investing too much into one element, demon wedge wise. I believe that it is healthy to have something like the immersive theater, because I don't think that somebody or people should be tied to only one team. They want you to play every character. They want you to go out and farm, you know, at least low investment on these characters. Like, I completed Act 12 with a Psyche who did not even have all of their Demon Wedge slots full, as you saw from the example of priority. This is a bit of a laggy server. But I also believe that people who want the element threshold removed, or believe it to, you know, be time to remove things like that, are just simply salty. And I don't mean this disrespectfully, I just simply think that you should not be, you know, full gold wedged on Electro and Pyro, or, you know, Lumino and Umbro. Right now, I really think that you should just be getting the important ones out of the way currently, and not putting all of your eggs in one basket. Because, you know, that is the saying. You can get up pretty high in the Axe currently with semi-low invested Anemo or Umbro, you know, characters. And yes, they want you to play the character that, you know, they spent time making for this event. Go out of your comfort zone in order to challenge these things. And the idea of us needing immersive theater as a sense of progressional endgame of like where our character is just not a feasible idea for endgame. And I know this game is not Warframe, this game is Duet Night Abyss. However, if we look at the idea of Warframe, the end game of Warframe is not bosses, it is not, there are multiple assets of endgame ideology in Warframe. And one of them is, for example, a speedrun of a mission, or seeing how far in defense you can go alone, or a survival alone. How many waves can you go? How many, you know, how far can you go against these creatures, right? Or like, you know, these mobs. Like, can you bring your Lisbel to a 200 wave defense? Or can you bring your main character build, you know, to a Serum Wave 30, right? These would be the endgame ideals of Duet Night Abyss, similar to Warframe currently. I believe there are reasons to say, like, yes, we could do for a bit more variety or a bit more reasoning, but to say that the game is stale or dying or going to die because of these things is a very glass half empty ignorant approach, and that if anything were to be blamed for any downgrade or unsuccession of this game, would be the fact that Arc Raiders and Where Winds Meet exists. And you cannot say, oh, they are not anime games, so they don't tailor to the same consumer. Yes, they do. They tailor to gamers and people who play games. So, as somebody who personally enjoys anime, has 230 hours in Warframe and almost already beating that in less time with Duet Night Abyss, I can say the reasons why I am playing this more and enjoying it more than Warframe is not because it is anime. It is because it has a better monetization system, has a better forging system, has a better player time appreciation system, and is enjoyable to progress in. Because my endgame is going to be seeing how far into a defense I can bring my Lisbel, or how far into a defense I could play Fina. Those will be my endgame, because that is what I will make of my endgame. You know, there are people who play Warframe for the snappy movement. There are people who play Warframe for the grindiness. There are people who play this because it's anime. I can see all of those reasonings. However, I don't agree with the upsetness or the glass half empty approach to the game will fail, enjoy this and see what it can become. The people who want this to already be a fleshed out, fully experienceable game where they had to pull the plug on 90% of its money-making operation, you are living in a fantasy world, with all due respect. To say that this game needs to drastically improve in the next month and a half to 2 months, you are living in a fantasy world. 3 months to 6 months is more than okay. If you believe that gamers need it now, need it in a month, that is you, my friend. That is not me. That is not someone who understands that games take time. They take effort. With all that, I believe that pretty much sums up the rest of this video. You know, priority of golden wedges, not to go out in full 10 out of 5 gold wedge cast on fire or like pyro elemental and then wonder why you can't run them in immersive theater. And think about the wedge priority. This game is not as bad as people make it out to be. I mean, it is literally its 1.0 version. Go look at Warframe in its 1.0 version. Go look at PUBG in its 1.0 version. Go look at, there are a plethora of games that did not do well or were missing some pretty good quality of life when they first released, and they did not get as much hate as this game does. You guys, I believe, or you know, people, not necessarily you guys watching the video, but people in general need to take a deep breath, go play something else until this gets better for you. Stop hating on it due to ignorance. Stop hating on it due to, oh, I don't want it to be this grindy, or I want more multiplayer. If you want more multiplayer, go play an MMO. You don't want it to be as grindy, spend some money. I don't think games that have a grind are bad. They're meant to facilitate enjoyment, meant to facilitate a form of playstyle. You know, for the people that are going at immersive theater because of the element shifts and the element increases and decreases, cry me a river, man. With all due respect, cry me a river. You shouldn't have spent, you know, the last 150 hours getting every single yellow wedge for one singular element. Wasn't needed, it won't be needed for quite some time, unless you're boss testing or maze testing. You want to test it in the immersive theater, then you need to wait for the time that your element is the shining one. Just because you chose an element that is not in yet does not make it the game's fault. It makes it yours for not being patient. And with that, guys, it's been Sykes. I'm gonna go play some Cyberpunk. Take it easy.